Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is me again, Essie Sibanda. Welcome to those who are new joining Bara Hope Social Relationships. And as we go on discussing the issue of family, definition of family, and we are going to be talking about role responsibilities. Hi Tetemevi, thank you for watching, and all the way from the States. Thank you so much for watching us. Maswanda, how are you doing there with my guys there? I bet you guys are all right and staying safe under the lockdown and everything else. So today we are talking about family, uh, continuing, because remember we were talking about definitions of family. So last post I did put, I wrote about things like fellowship. We spoke about clan, and we spoke about a lot of things like groups, where people interact, where I remember when we were growing up, we of the Malawian background used to have dance groups, Muganda for men and Chimtali for women. And those used to be social gatherings where you would go to practice and then you would have possibly some competitions. I remember we used to go, we even went as far as the non-aligned movements, and every year there was a place, a slot from Uganda or Chimtali at the showground, so you would compete in the year to go and represent the Muganda groups at the showground. So that was some form of family, because you got to know those people intimately, even though they were just people you were possibly in a group with, and the fact that you all spoke the same language. And I also spoke about Vamzinda wanted to dance the Shangara. It's also a dance, and we used to have a very prominent choir which was called Manikatika Choir from Masvingo. For those who are from Zimbabwe would know about that group. They used to go around singing, and I know them because we used to meet them when we went for the it used to be called the Royal Varieties Show in Zimbabwe, not in England, in Zimbabwe. And it was done once every year at the Rufaro Stadium, and that's where you would meet a lot of all those groups. So instead, interlinking with people from different backgrounds, but the fact that you had all different sort of groups of dance or singing or anything else, you ended up interacting and know people from Fakose, from Bare, from Masvingo, from Domboshava, and people from everywhere else, because yearly you would meet, and you would also sort of meet in the preliminary rounds where you would compete so that you get picked to go and be part of the Royal Variety Show, or you're going to represent your group at the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show in the Harare Showgrounds. So that's fascinating about family. And that's something which I learned when I was researching about family, that family is not always, I know when we say family, we speak about family being blood. That's mostly what we talked about. And or you become family through marriage, like my aunt who's watching, or you become family by possibly liaising with some people. If I've got my sister-in-law and I then become related to her family, so it's about association of people you have possibly come into contact with through marriage, and then you end up having a relationship which you can call family. So family is quite broad in terms of definition, what you would call family. Then you would also, we possibly fail to include people who are adopted, or people who we've just sort of taken into our family without legally adopting them, or legally changing their names, but because they have been adopted, into the family in terms of um, in terms of just trying to interact, then you actually don't you don't possibly uh, you want to say they are family, but these people are close, they are not blood, but you haven't sort of legalized it. That's the word I'm looking for. You haven't legalized them in the sense that you are now going to give them a name which is more or less yours. But these people have been in your life, and you are having a relationship which can go quite far. So that's another family dynamics which we don't most probably consider, or which we don't look at and think this is family. Where you find, I know when I spoke about family in terms of mother, father, and the children belonging to the father, because in the um, most part of the world, it is a paternal world, and Zimbabwe is not an exception, where you would think the father is the owner of the children, and then there is that notion that the mother is not related to the children, culturally, and genetically these people are related. As I was saying, it's quite funny that I am related to my mother's brothers and sisters and their children. Genetically we are related, but culturally we are detaching that and saying they are not, I am alien to them, and they are alien to me, or they treat me like I'm alien to them. Whereas, I am, they could be my sort of surviving relatives if anything would happen to me, because genetically they will be related to me. So, genetics and blood could usually not be anything considered family than just anybody else who I can pick somebody on the street and say, I want you to come be part of my family. Do you want me to legalize that? Then I can just legalize that, and they become my family because I've legalized that. So family is got a lot of different dynamics which I did learn throughout. And obviously there was the family about the mafia. you know we have seen so many movies on mafia, and we don't realize it's family. And most probably there are families you hear about, the fight against this family and this family, because they are fighting for territory of control, because they are mafia. They are families. And then you take people who are like, if you take the Pope, for instance, that household, there are so many people who are there, who are serving, they are cleaners, they are cooks, gardeners, and everybody else. They are also family in where they are. And then you go into the president's office, everybody who's there, there are people who possibly are going to cook and clean the offices or whatever. Those are all families. So that's another family. And there are families which we don't talk about, which we didn't discuss in this instance, because we are supposed to doing social interactions, and things like chemical, plants, animals, and there are families in that, but we didn't talk about them because they were not relevant to that. So it's quite interesting. So I thought, before we go and talk about role responsibilities, maybe we need to talk about identity, because that's something which a lot of people hang on to. What's my identity? Should I change my name? Maybe I grew up with my mother, and I've got my mother's surname. Should I change my name because now I want to use my name, or I don't know who my father is, so what is my identity like? So that's something which possibly, I'm just researching on that in terms of identity, seeing where we are on a cultural point of view, on a legal point of view, and then on a Christian point of view, because remember I said we will talk about mind, body, and soul. So we are going to talk about the physical, the spiritual, and the biological. So that's the reason why I'm saying then I'll talk about the spiritual point of view on identity, what I believe identity is in terms of, my spirit or my soul. Where do I identify yourself? And obviously we'll talk about where you were born in terms of biological or the physical, whether you are going to look for a name to adopt and legally do the deed poll to change your name or anything like that, or things which usually bother people. I remember my brother always to say, oh, the Kanjipiti is original, and there's always somebody who thinks you're original and somebody who is not original, especially where it comes to gender. You are a girl and he's a boy. Are you not original because you have changed now your name, or are you not? So there are so many things which are actually interesting, which we'll be talking about. So for today I'll leave you at that. The next thing I'm going to post is possibly the legal description of family in I've taken some instances of UK, US, and Zimbabwe. What would be the definition of family legally? And quite surprising, surprise, I found in UK and in Zimbabwe there's no definite legal definition of family. And in the States, I don't know whether Auntie knows, it depends on state where you are, but legally you can define family. So those are the things I'm finding, and it's going to be quite interesting, guys, for us to be going through that. And we'll do that, and we'll talk again on today is Wednesday, on Friday, because tomorrow I'm going to put a post. So keep reading what I put on so that you've got a background when I talk. You don't get lost in there. That's the reason why we sort of do a catch-up video, so that we talk about that. But everything else, I'm sort of putting it step by step on the written one, and better things to come. For now, I will leave you to be safe and to stay washing your hands, social distancing if you can. If you are going to work, just be careful, auntie. There where you are going to go to work, you and me are nurses, so I know how it is. So keep yourself safe, and greetings to everyone, every part of your family, the children, and everybody who matter in your life. And I thank you for watching and for following the series of families and role responsibilities. We are continuing to foster meaningful relationships through interactions and introspection. Thank you. Good night.